everyone, it is DD Dweller, and today we are back with another round of Stranded Alien Dawn in the Sobrius region. And in our last playthrough, as you might have guessed just by looking at what is currently on screen, where I have the gameplay paused, we did get the herd started, and I was so excited about this. We brought in quite the number of Olafs, so under the management tab, we can look at our tamed animal list, and already we have quite the number. We have Prime, Bumblebee, Ironhide, Jazz, and RC in our herd. They are really doing well. I'm not setting any of them to slaughter. I'm not thinking our people are that desperate for food that we need to harm our herd, but I do think that they are going to be able to provide us with a pretty valuable resource just from this alone. The animal waste itself has a couple of different uses that I would like to take advantage of to kind of like justify my very clearly self-indulgent desire to herd these animals and to domesticate them. That said, let's take a look at what our settlers are up to and what the current gameplay needs are for the season of gameplay that we are currently in. So Ken is working on transporting some stone for us. I'm pretty sure that was a resource that we wanted to gather so that we could start working on concrete fortifications. Looking at the top toolbar, and we have 200 so far, so we're going to be able to start upgrading our defenses really soon. We have Krista researching, as she is wont to do, and that is great. And we have Chad over here transporting the manure, so we're gonna go ahead and start using that. Vivian is crafting, which is also great because that's exactly what we want her to be doing. And Jack is over here. He is hauling some timber. Rita is transporting berries. I believe she is trying to feed the herd right now, which I'm not going to object to. That said, I really hope she's also cooking meals for the humans, and it does seem that we have a decent stockpile of veggie soup, but it might be time to start harvesting some other crops and create some variation. Farming wise, with this playthrough, we are growing grain cob over here. We have ourselves some tall grass here, which I think is going to be useful for harvesting hay, and then our glitter caps. We do have a freezer and it is turned on. It's currently only storing insect meat, so I do think harvesting right about now would be great. And in here we do have some other materials being stored in the refrigerator. All right, so I think it's time to start marking things for harvest. So I'm going to start here with these heptagonias. What are some other things that we might need? These would be great. And there was one other thing I did kind of want to revisit, and that was the naming of our settlement. And I'm gonna go ahead and look for a nice, beautiful sort of aerial view of it. Here is our base, and let's just take a quick look at it, even though I do see the notification that it says aggressive animals 19 nearby. Hit pause so that we can come back to that after we discuss the naming of our settlement, because this is playthrough number 5 or 6, I think, for this run, and we have been debating for a little while now what to call this settlement, particularly given the lake that I've basically built it on, and the fact that it looks kind of like a boot print. That was like a big part of the kind of like naming convention or treatment that I was going for, and you guys had some really great suggestions, and I am going to throw them up on screen, so we will sort of like scroll through those. But I had naming ideas like Midden for its meaning, names like New Haven, Fort Dweller, Dweller Lake, or Lake View. My own brother suggested Imitenu, which is kind of like an inside joke for a book that I wrote in high school with a name that virtually nobody could pronounce, spell, or as a result recommend to anyone else. It's been really, really hard trying to figure out what feels right for our gameplay settlement or base or fort or whatever it is that we want to call them, and I've been trying to figure out what feels right. The two that stuck out to me the most were New Footprint and Boot Lake. As simple as those might seem, they just felt like they really were true to the geographical location of where we built the settlement, and so those are the ones I'm more leaning toward. I do really like the concept of new footprint because they are sort of putting their own footprint on this planet. I also like just the way Boot Lake sounds. So something like Boot Lake Village. They're all sort of like living in a dormitory versus a village. So it's a little bit hard to want to call it that. But yeah, I think it's a kind of a toss-up for me right now. Boot Lake Village or new footprint. So I guess what I could do to try to like break this tiebreaker is ask you guys to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Either Boot Lake Village or new footprint as like the town name. And yeah, I'll let you guys be the ones to make the hard choices. Let's check out where these aggressive 19 animals are. They're over here, and it looks like we have some of the exploding ones as well as the regular Scarabee. And I think this is fine. I don't know that they would necessarily be that much of a threat given our current setup. I will say our current setup had a major fluke that we discovered last time around, which was this right here. Essentially inaccessible. So inaccessible that I can't even access it to tear it down. Pretend it's not a problem that exists, but is completely inaccessible. Actually, I'm kind of interested in having somebody haul these. Why is it not available? Storage is why. It's always the why, isn't it? I know, we're about to get attacked and I'm worried about storage space right now. Yeah, just way too much shelving here. And also, I would really like for the food to be inside. I don't know why there's still the option to put food on these shelves considering the freezer and the fridge at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off of this list, and same from here. And once these shelves that I selected in red are torn down, we'll build some more stockpiles so we can store more hay, since that seems to be the issue here. I guess we can prepare for this battle with the aggressive 19 animals. We could even start really with push and play. I do think, okay, so our herd should be, for the most part, fine, unless the Scarabee decide to break through this fence and chase them around, but I'm hoping that won't happen. I know everybody's probably tired. He's still mining, but we need him here. So we're gonna bring him in for this animal attack. Let's drop him up here, wake you up and put you right here. And then Chad, I'm gonna wake you up and stick you right here. Krista, let's draft you and put you at the top of these stairs. And who is left? Vivian, we'll draft her and stick her on this side of these stairs. And that leaves Rita, who I'm going to have to bring inside now because we have a fight on our hands. Positions, everyone. It looks like they're already shooting. And that's a good thing. We want them to be shooting, and we don't want these things attacking over here. So as long as that's not happening, we should be fine. We do have our flamethrowers doing a good job out this way. That's great. Traps catching them. I did hear, okay, so I have not done anything yet to change the layout clearly of my defensive systems, but I have heard your recommendations about opening up this wall here and sort of funneling the guys through here, but not like literally that wall on this fortification around the building, but to build another sort of maze that leads to an open space that the characters can stand in to aggro into said maze to then stumble across the traps and the flamethrowers and such. So I hear you. I am going to come up with a solution. Maybe we'll do that right after this fight. We can start building that. But for the meantime, before we get around to that, I suppose I should say, we're going to have to finish fighting these guys first. And yeah, they're inside now, so we're gonna have to start shooting inside. But I think everybody should be elevated. It looks like everybody's elevated. Everybody should be fine. One of them did make it up the steps here, it looks like, which makes me wonder how Krista's doing health-wise. She doesn't seem to have sustained any injuries, so I think we're okay. I would like to know where these remaining 3 are. So you, friend, are not shooting this. I don't understand why. Like, I do not understand at all why you're not shooting this. It makes no sense to me. Okay, the fight is over. So I will start undrafting and we'll let them set about their business. It looks like Chad is gonna need a little bit of healing. He did get bitten on his foot. I think our herd, our animals are well fed, so there's no shortage of food there. They're fine. We're gonna need Chad to heal so that he can then repair some of these. And I'm pretty sure Jack will have his hands full with handling this stuff as well. Well, I would like to actually start farming some beef berries. I feel like that would be a good thing to have. So let me go real quick into our farming category, grab these beef berries. So we'll do like a small little patch right here. Vivian is harvesting that stuff that we set to harvest at the beginning of this playthrough with these sweet syrups. So that's good. I think it might be time though to start working on this defensive maze thing. Let's see how we can do this. And I think we had talked about the concrete walls that we wanted to start building. So let's see how much of that we honestly have the means to build. Let's go to defense. Let's go to fortification and concrete fortification. I don't know why these electric poles lit up for this, but they did. Okay, start. I'm just outlining where we're gonna stick this fortification. And I think, being totally honest, we're gonna do it like this. And I would need, obviously, a way to get in here. I guess this giant metal gate is better than the wood one. So 300 to 900, yeah, we're gonna do that. So rotate that around. We'll stick it right here. That will be our way in. And from here, I suppose we could do our maze idea. Insufficient materials, yeah, I figured this is gonna take a while to build because we're over 1,000 shy on concrete mix, on cement. We're gonna need to do a lot more mining first and foremost. And then a lot more mixing. So speaking of mining, let me come in here and select some stone, 29 stone here to use. Go here and lay another stockpile, and we're gonna make this construction material. Specifically, we needed one for hay and we need one for stone. Whatever makes it there first, I suppose. I say that, but somebody has to build the stockpile before she can fetch quest anything. So Krista is gonna do that then for us. Yeah, I think though, once we are able to fence this whole thing in, it's really gonna start looking like fort or a settlement instead of just having the main house fenced in. But for the time being, I mean, until we do have proper walls, I don't think we're at liberty really to tear down this current defense setup. We kind of gotta stick with it until we get to that part. I wonder if it'd be possible to move this. I'm gonna stick this on fast forward for right now and see where that gets us. Spaceship debris crash. A large burning object, most definitely a chunk of spaceship, crashed in the distance. There was something particular about its shape. Okay, so we will send somebody for this, but we're gonna wait until Rita has had a proper amount of rest before sending her on the expedition. And since we're in fast forward mode, it's actually coming up relatively quickly, so I think it might be okay to go ahead and check this out now. So let's send Rita to the peculiar crash site and see what that yields. I wonder why RC is highlighted like that. If I click off of her, no, she stays highlighted. Okay, well, that's a thing that's happening. And then Vivian is harvesting our grain. Thank you, ma'am. Now we can make something other than veggie soup. That'll be terrific. Risk of meltdown, discovery, blade grass. Okay, first of all, let's slow down a bit. And blade grass for hay. How are we just now discovering this? It's fine. This is fine. Hay is good for feeding these guys, right? Yeah, so I think from now on, we will do hay instead of bushel fruits. We can have the one that has bushel fruits, but really I want to put hay because we're going to grow our own bushel fruits here, so there will be no need to put them in troughs. Yes, we'll build a third battery since these are so full already off of the wind power that we're currently using, so we can just build a third battery and continue to store power. I'm sure that's going to come into play at some point. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. I do want expedition complete. Okay, at the crash site, parts of debris caught my attention, so I went to investigate. Doing so, found the remains of a communication hub, and with some effort, I was able to pull out an intact orbital radio core. With some research, it should be possible to use the core in construction of orbital communication device and contact ships that pass nearby planets. Yes, this is technically the goal for Endgame, is a chance for salvation. So that is a great find. That will help us move forward. And when we do decide to build this orbital radio, we're gonna wanna do it in a space where we're kind of hiding it behind the toughest walls we can find, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna aggro some animals and we're gonna get attacked. So this is a great start, and finding that radio core is a great start as well. We can probably add something now to our research queue that wasn't there before. Let me go ahead and look at our desk and check out what research we have on tap. Anyway, yeah, see, this is new, orbital radio. And we have the automatic turrets, which is what we are currently researching. I think adding printed components, which I have yet to try for crafting and which I meant to add a lot sooner and just didn't, so we'll add those now. And then we'll add the orbital radio to our research queue. And I suppose sensor devices would be good. And I'm not sure. I suppose we could do an advanced research desk after that, unless something more pertinent comes up. Temperature-wise, it's 63 degrees outside, and indoors it is 132 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds positively dangerous. Why is it so hot in here? Extinguish and turn off refuel for a second. I think they're gonna die if it's that hot inside. 109 degrees indoors. Krista, handle these stoves. That should not be on. What temperature does this think it's trying to target? I'm thinking 62 might be more appropriate than 75. My goodness. I'm surprised Krista didn't have heat stroke from that. That's ridiculous. Over here it is 105. We're gonna extinguish these stoves as well. It is just way too hot for that. I mean, we did just come out of winter, so I can kind of understand why these might have still been running, but it's time to turn these off before everybody just dies of heat stroke, sleeping in their own beds. Insufficient fuel for the torches. Yes, that is true. And it's telling me that now because now we have the opportunity to harvest this field. And she has enough rest and relaxation. I believe she'll do fine. Who else has decent farming? Vivian has farming too. Maybe she can plant the beefberry field. And obviously Rita has the best farming, but she's on an expedition right now. Yeah, I think that might just be the way we roll. Still 102 degrees in here. I mean, I can try opening some windows up to let some cool air in. Maybe Jack can do that for us. And then Ken, I would really like him to extinguish this heating stove because I didn't mean for them to still be not extinguished. And that to me seems like a problem. One more, Ken, one more, this one too. Micromanaging them at this point just so they don't die of heat stroke in the house. It's a little much, I think. One more window, Jack. And now I'm thinking we might need like more versions of this to sort of go around. Pregnant animal? Oh! Who is? The following animal is pregnant. It just says Ulfen sleeping. Okay, well, I guess maybe it's Arcee because she is highlighted pink. Maybe that's why. That might explain why now she's highlighted pink. It's gotta be Arcee. She's the only adult female in the herd right now. The others are little babies. So yeah, it's definitely Arcee. Of course, Jack is going berserk now and having a monster meltdown where he's beating the crap out of the chair. So that's not how you're meant to relax with the chair, but I guess there's more than one way. He's beating up the other one too. That's just great. Risk of meltdown too, honestly not surprising, but what we need right now are some other pretty menial tasks done or completed. It looks like we did get the beefberry field sowed, so that's good. How many cooked meals do we have? None. That would probably explain why they're eating sweet syrup instead. She is totally full, so I'm gonna ask her to cook some things then while she is up. I am looking forward to all of these melons growing ready for harvest because it would be nice to have some more vegetables. After Vivian's done eating, maybe she can help us with harvesting. I would also like to replant some of these fields. I don't understand how this queue thing is supposed to work because I'm trying to queue and it's just not working. The queue command is not working and it's making me a little annoyed because it tells me that's how you queue. And then I do it and it's not working. I shift click to queue. To create a queue, it says you can shift click and the shift clicking is not working. And then we can actually change the crop here to something else that might be a little more useful to us, like cloth blossom, for instance. So we have grain cob, we'll have cloth blossom, beefberry field, and our glitter caps again. It takes a village, folks. Even though Rita is our primary for farming, we are getting some help from Vivian and Krista because it can't all be on Rita's shoulders. And it looks like these guys are getting plenty to eat, and I love that. That's great. So we have 2 ACs built. It looks like we got all of our fields planted. That's very good. And we're starting to see some growth here with this field as well. I did not know these could look like this. We have Heptagonia that died. So we set these to harvest. Are these ones ready? Look, we have another dead Heptagonia over here. At least they're not all dying out at once, because I really like having these readily available, like growing in the wild right outside of camp. So new resource bread, hello, that sounds amazing. So we are able to make bread now. That sounds wonderful. I'm really excited for them to have a new food source. That's terrific. So we have our metal gates here, terrific. And our stone fence is coming along as fast as we can build cement for it. It's really like a three-man assembly. We've got Ken bringing in the stone, Jack creating the cement with the stone, and then Chad creating the wall from the cement. And since we have two CPU cores in stock, I'm actually going to bump electronics to the top of the pile for now. And we'll bring the number down to like 6. So 3 and 6 should be a decent amount to have always in stock before she moves on to another task in her task list. And once we have that extra electronic, we should be able to put together this third battery for our electric grid. That's another thing we like to use Rita for, our expeditions, because she is so good at like discovering things while in the air. We have so many days to check out the shooting star though. And I don't want to go too soon because it might still be on fire and they might tell us that it was like a wasted trip because it's too hot to touch. I don't know. Oh, and look over here. It looks like these are now ready for harvest. So let's go ahead and ask somebody to do that. Let's harvest some buttermelons. And we can even harvest these ones as well if these guys don't eat it all first. And defenses. It looks like we've gained a new, yeah, the turrets. That's right. So for that, I'm kind of thinking we may want to have ourselves like an elevated platform here. Let's try starting just with the roof, and then we will build ourselves an elevated platform. Like that. And then I'm just gonna need some stairs to go up to that. So let's find the stairs. This is a new strategy for me, so it might take me a second to figure it out. Rotate this and bring our stairs up this way. I might end up needing to do at some point is bringing the power grid out that way so that we can like connect all of this to like where we can place turrets and things, perhaps. I guess then I'll put one of these out here this way. So yeah, we are developing a little bit more advanced of a base, so it's going to take a little bit of sorting out first and foremost. I do want to harvest these melons though. I know how very, very valuable these are. Expedition complete, that's right, we sent Ken on an expedition. I came across a couple of open containers with scratches and tooth marks. Expect they were recently opened by curious animals, but the grain will keep, so we'll get the grain basically for this whole playthrough. And save game. We're gonna save this to certain playthrough, yeah. Gosh, this is not the deserted playthrough. Save game. Shit. Oh my god. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that deserted playthrough. I just lost it. We're just gonna continue and I will deal with the Desertum region playthrough issue in the next Desertum region playthrough video. I would like for Arcee to have her calf because I think that would be really fun to be able to name another one of our Ulfens and have our first born Ulfen in this playthrough. Basically in this herd that wasn't domesticated, it was born into the family. Let's go to defenses, let's go to automatic turrets, and look at some of our options. We've got missile launcher turret, machine gun, it's now storming. So our next option is a laser turret. Oh, all right, I think we're under attack, and I didn't see this coming. I guess that means we need to stage our folks for the fight. They are on the move. They're marching in our direction. Alright, so they're on the lawn. And it looks like Rita is doing a great job so far. They're not really even getting close to us. Two are up here, stuck in traps. And it's a done deal. I have to say, for the, I would consider these really light attacks, like they're really small attacks that we are getting. I think it's because I have made my fortifications so tight-knit and they're so, like, the game might be giving me what they think is an appropriate number of attackers based on the size of my fortifications, which is working in my favor at this point because it is very easy for my folks to defend this base. And we've researched printed components, so that should really lighten the load for Vivian as far as crafting goes. I mean, it's still gonna have a roof over it, and it's gonna be well under the patio. Okay, so yeah. Now we should be able to queue up some printed components. What are we researching right now? We are currently researching an orbital radio. Okay, good. Krista, I had such a nice meal. Oh, that's nice to know. And Rita is out here fertilizing the crops, so that's good. Maybe we'll have a greater yield this time. I do see the opportunity to harvest some fruit bushes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and add those to our queue. RC, did you have your baby? You're not highlighted pink anymore. Did we have a baby Ulfen and I just didn't know it? Did it happen? I don't see that it is pregnant anymore. Oh no, is it fine? Is it okay? What happened? Our third battery is in service, so this is especially good. See, this is why we build these. Can you see this? Like how the windmills are barely turning now, so we're tapping into our reserves here. 160 feathers? What are feathers just doing on the ground? We can use feathers now? What are we using feathers for? What do we do with these feathers? We observe them, I guess. Okay. Unpowered devices. Okay, so we ran out of power. And maybe Jack can construct this 3D printer for us. And we can turn off the soldering bench so that we're not pulling too much electricity that we don't have. That should be good. Research the orbital radio. That's something we can start working on soon. How big is this orbital radio exactly? So it's going to be pretty big. Maybe a 7x7 will be adequate. I don't know. I hope so. Okay, there we go. It's on there. Finally. Alright, so we've now discovered incendiary traps and we're also hurting really badly for electric power. So it's time we start looking at some alternative power sources like solar panels. And I'm going to just go ahead and start doing that at this point. And since we have these poles all the way out here, I don't think it would hurt. Okay, what about if we could fit the orbital radio here? We totally could, and it's on flat ground. I wouldn't even need... Done, problem solved. I don't even need to build a platform for it. That is fine the way it is. Okay, cool. Oh, we have the newborn. Hold on. It happened. We got our newborn Olaf. Yay, our pride is growing. It just needs a name. Since we're doing a transformer thing or theme, we will name this one Wheeljack. We have ourselves now 4 littles, Jazz, Ironhide, Bumblebee, and Wheeljack, and then we have RC and Prime. And hopefully we're gonna see, oh no. And see, this is what happens. We start building ourselves a concrete fortification, and next thing you know, we are being attacked by the aggressive spike-tailed insects. I'm gonna save that for the next playthrough, so we will start there and see if our very incomplete concrete barrier is going to cost us a life or 2. We'll see how this all plays out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game. We have ourselves a few more like modern conveniences. And if you haven't already, please subscribe if you would like to check this out. I invite you to, and I will see you